Hey everybody, welcome to our first ever GTZP live stream event. We are kind of playing it by the ball.
Cheers.
Yes.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Hopefully people can hear us.
Welcome. Yeah,
Yes, I think we're heard.
Yes.
Cool. So let's get things kicked off. So we're going to start with introductions. And I will start by introducing myself. For people that are familiar with Greater Than 0%, I am the one that you probably see the most because I'm the one conducting the interviews, but there's a lot that happens behind the scenes, and there's a lot of work going on that isn't typically shown. So I am the president and co-founder of Greater Than 0%, Joseph Smalzer. Nice to meet everyone, and thanks for joining the live stream.
Yeah.
Ooh. My turn?
Yeah.
Cool. Hi, everybody. I am Corey Smalzer. I am also one of the co-founders of Greater Than 0%, as well as secretary of Greater Than 0%.
Yes.
So probably get a lot of emails from me.
Yes. And my name is Kevin Smart. I'm our chief digital officer and also co-founder as well. And very excited to get things up and running on our live stream today.
And I'm Vince. I'm our creative producer, so I handle anything that involves the sound, the audio, the video, this live stream today. Just a lot of fun. Glad to be here. I hope you guys get something out of it and learn more about us.
All right, so we have a light and flexible agenda. I want to start by talking a little bit about why we founded Greater Than 0% about a year ago now. So for 5 or so years, I've been involved with volunteering, and I've also been a part of and worked for really big companies like Dell and Amazon and SoftChoice. And when I was volunteering, I would usually share a lot about what I was doing with these organizations, and I realized that there are people that are doing really amazing things with these non-for-profits that we're interviewing, and then there's people that really want to be a part of that and also join them in doing amazing things. So I first started by just inviting people that I work with to participate with these nonprofits, but it got to a point where we wanted to scale it a little bit more and share more stories of different non-for-profits that are doing a lot of different things, and have a scalable way for people to get engaged, because not everyone is maybe inspired or passionate about a certain nonprofit. And so we wanted to share tons of diverse non-for-profits to have a lot of engagement from people that are inspired by different things. So that's one side. And also, as you all probably know, non-for-profits don't necessarily have a massive marketing budget. And so what we also try to do, in addition to driving our mission of finding people and organizations that are changing the world and sharing their stories, we also are trying to drive engagement, education, and awareness. So what we try to do with these nonprofits is to be an extension of their marketing arm to get their story out there through these video interviews, through podcasts, through some fun things that our team's going to share with you that we have coming up. I don't want to spill the beans. And Greater Than 0% was born. And we called it Greater Than 0% because a lot of people think and are overwhelmed initially when they're trying to figure out what they want to volunteer for, and they think that they have to start a nonprofit or donate thousands of dollars or donate or participate 40 hours a week, but really an hour a week, $1 a day, all that stuff really matters. And so Greater Than 0%, as long as you're contributing greater than 0%, that's what the goal is, and that's what we were founded upon. So that was the founding.
Yes.
That's
really good.
You've done that a lot of times. I feel like you say that a lot.
I say it a lot, so I got it down, I
You've
think.
done it before.
So now we're going to go around the horn and do individual whys of why you wanted to be a part of Greater Than 0%. So I kind of explained my background, so I think we could go around, starting with Corey.
Real quick, shout outs to Ian Sherwood and Mike Donovan. Thanks for joining us today.
What up, Ian?
Saying hi in the chat.
Yes, Mike Donovan, yeah, thanks for joining. Good stuff.
Awesome. I'll start because I got the speaking burrito. I'll pass it along. Well, I'll say this. I think Joe kind of summarized parts of probably the reasons why, I really wanted to get involved. Obviously, I'm also Joe's wife, so I get wrapped into whatever Joe would like to also do. And now has become, we laugh about it a little bit, like my second job of being part of Greater Than 0%. But yeah, no, I honestly have like a a part in me that also is very similar to Joe. Like giving back is super important, like ethos in both of our lives. And yeah, like I think when I first started out of college, starting to look at like volunteering opportunities, I was pretty lost, like in terms of like what I wanted to do. I think as we all know, there's so many opportunities in Chicago to get involved. It's like, where do you start? Like, where do you begin? And yeah, it was pretty overwhelming for me to understand where I wanted to spend most of my time.
Yeah.
So I actually just started like tagging along with Joe, like everywhere he was like volunteering, and then tried to like forge my own path into like what I was interested in. And a lot of my background is in education, and I found organizations that aligned with, again, like my passions, my interests, which was youth and education, and kind of really spearheaded my, like, I would say pathway into volunteering, into being part of community-based organizations within Chicago, and wanting to be part of Greater Than 0%. That was kind of my mission into this.
Heck yeah.
Very nice.
So I'll pass the
The burrito.
speaking
Real quick
burrito.
again.
Cheers to that.
Thanks, Nick
Cheers.
Natalino. Thanks, Alec Wiseman. You guys hopping
Oh
on.
my gosh.
Oh my
Much
gosh.
love.
Shout
That's
outs.
house.
We have 9
Love it.
viewers right now. I think
Oh,
we're at a
cool.
max of 11, so this is great. This is
We're getting
our
there.
stream.
Better than
Take it
zero.
there.
It's better than zero.
It's
Better than
greater than zero.
Very true.
It's great.
Yeah, so I think I'll keep mine short. I think the spirit of getting involved in nonprofits definitely started from my parents. They used to be missionaries, and I think it was instilled in such a young age of just like how small of an impact, or I guess no impact is too small in impacting the world. So I think that as a young age definitely was instilled in me, and I just remember being involved with a lot of youth mission trips as well, helping inner city kids and just helping organizations as well. So I think that kind of bled into this, where there's just so many organizations that Joe has figured out or found that I had no idea were here in Chicago. I've been here for 11 years, and I am constantly shocked by some of the amazing things that so many organizations are doing that I just had no idea, and just want to share with my friends and colleagues and coworkers that there is so many opportunities out there to get involved, and that's like the main driver for why I'm here. So
We also found Kevin through Joe.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe and Kevin worked together.
Yeah, I originally
Eons
started off with
ago.
just doing drone stuff.
Yeah.
Who knew that droning turned into like this whole gig that we have now? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there it is. That's the man of the hour. Joe is our connection.
Oh yeah.
Joe and I, the Loyola Chicago, we were in the same fraternity. We did a lot of volunteer work, and post school, I'm no longer here in Chicago, but I remember Joe hit me up last July. Said, "Hey, I want to do live streams," and I said, it might be a little crazy because there's a lot of stuff going on to it. And Joe's like, "I'm gonna do it," and he did it. And then he called me 2 weeks later and said, "Hey, Vince, can you help?" And since then, here we are, and now we get to do this crazy setup with the multiple
Yes.
cameras and the mics and all that, and it's a lot of fun. But for my why is, just like everyone else, I having that sense of purpose of giving back and doing something. When I had an opportunity to work abroad during our collegiate years, I spent a lot of time working with nonprofits, helping them how to market, helping them get their story out. And then after I graduated, some of my very first jobs were for nonprofits, like helping them make promo videos, helping them put together websites. And then, so this is kind of a natural progression, and us building this is just something that's I'm very excited for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's next?
yeah, team.
What's next? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who
Cheers,
needs this?
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Cheers to the individual wise.
Oh, yes.
Cheers.
I don't have my drink.
You can
Burrito.
cheers. You're talking burrito.
I will say this: if like there are other people out there that definitely like want to get involved with our Greater Than 0% team, whether that's like you feel like you've got some skills that can
Yes.
help our team. We are obviously a nonprofit as well that's starting up and looking for support through our communities.
Yeah.
So feel free to reach out to us if you're interested, or again, like if there's other ways you want to get involved with what we do, please let us know.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just check that glowing banner at the bottom of the screen,
right there.
GTZP.org.
Or just like text us. Either one.
Absolutely.
But yeah, for sure follow, like subscribe, and tune in. We post podcasts once a week. So for those who haven't heard some of our podcasts before,
Definitely more to come.
yeah, more to come.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool.
Well, great. So next up, we have individual favorites. Yes, talking burrito. So we're going to talk about an episode, and I hate saying favorites because all the episodes that we
Highlights,
do are
spotlights.
amazing, but
Yeah.
things that have pulled on a certain heartstring of ours, and we want to talk about it. Boom. And then also sneak peeks that we're excited about. Did I determine what my sneak peek was?
I don't know.
I'll be
Jack.
last.
I don't
I'll
know,
be
Jack.
last.
Oh,
I'll be
okay,
last. So
okay.
I want to be
Yeah.
first.
Cool,
Should I be last for everything then? Are you okay with going first now?
How about like Kevin goes first, and then
I
because I'm first on everything else.
Yes.
That's fine.
Talking
Kevin, go
burrito.
first.
I can go first.
Cool.
So mine is Growing Homes, which was an episode from season 2.
First episode, yep.
First episode of season 2, and I think we actually have a clip.
Quick
Yeah,
clip
so
to
okay,
watch.
real quick, we'll be right back, everybody.
Today we have Janelle St. John, who is Executive Director of Growing Home. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for having me. Food is not something that I came across. Like you've heard about food deserts, but you
Yes.
mostly think about bringing in grocery stores, not necessarily growing food. The job training program was a perk because I've done other job training programs, but honestly, I've never dealt with food in this way. I've done small community gardens, but it's amazing how when you're dealing in and I don't like the term food desert a lot, but that's what people are used to hearing. For me, it's being able to provide people access to affordable, healthy options.
We're back. Well, there was that. There's Growing Home.
Yeah, so we definitely heard from Janelle there, and so Growing Home, again, as you probably just saw, they are helping here in Chicago, just like teaching about all things farming. And I think this was actually the very first episode that I got involved with doing some drone shots. And then this is where I just had no idea that on the south side they had, I can't remember how many acres, but just farms on farms, teaching so many inspiring students and then also people in the community. So this one's definitely one that kind of tugged on my heartstrings, and they definitely have a few events coming up. One of them is their 6th Fest and Growing Home Volunteer Day. It's on Monday, April 26th from 9 to 12, so more info on their website. And one that I'm also super excited about is their 19th annual benefit gala, title Recipes for Resilience. It's on May 6th from 6 to 7. We're going to be live. This is going to be another live event for us. So a huge shout out. We will definitely be there. And if you haven't had a chance to check them out, definitely go to their website. I'm sure we'll post some info about them as well after our live stream.
Kevin,
Yeah.
I think you got like a little honey there, right? From Growing
Oh,
Home.
yes.
Yeah.
And
They have
some
bees.
honey. They
Yeah.
have bees. This is super fresh, all
I think it's
organic.
like raw organic.
Here, let me,
Yeah.
Hold it
Organic,
up
like, I mean, you
Sorry,
can
yeah, you
almost,
can't see it.
yes,
It's honey.
you can almost smell it through the camera.
I think you can smell it too.
It's all organic, no paratives, no. I mean, that's as fresh as
Well, I
you can
think they
get.
like focus too on because in certain parts of Chicago, there's like it's more or less like a food desert
Yes.
for organic food, and I think that's like what they focus on is really helping places within Chicago who don't have access to
Yes.
organic produce, right? And that is first and foremost, I think, something that they're trying to combat. And then secondly, don't they work on like job, like career
Yeah.
Yeah,
skill
it's like-
building?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yep.
Job
What are some other
training,
parts,
job
like, Growing
job
Home?
training, job placement, and I think also too, it was just like again an opportunity to learn skills that typically you don't find in Chicago. So
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I think they focus a lot on like families or adults who are either re-entering into work environments,
Yeah.
or like they focused a lot with this recent cohort, people who had maybe gotten let go or lost jobs because of COVID.
Yep.
And so they really tried to focus on individuals who maybe needed to learn new skills, right?
Sure.
Like get out of their comfort zone a little bit
Very true.
to try to find a new industry to go into. I know, Joe, you helped with one of like their job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Kind of
they
like
have
stuff that they did.
they have like an 8-week or a 10-week job readiness program where they get people from the community that want to learn a skill, and then also give them training that we help them participate in. So it was a really cool organization that's doing a lot for that community for sure.
Yeah. We got to do some mock interviewing with some of them. It was so cool. One of my coworkers, Eliza, shout out to her, also is a mock interview person as well with myself. And I know they found it super rewarding, the folks in their cohort. It was really impactful. You could see like they took a lot away from it, and
Yeah. So growing home,
growing home.
Growing
find
home.
them,
Find
volunteer,
it.
donate.
Janelle
Gala.
St. John hit
Yes.
her up.
Yeah, they're just crazy.
We are sending lots of love.
They raised the bed where they're at and put a solid foot of just dirt, and
Yeah.
to find people who've got the farming skill set here in the big concrete jungle that is Chicago is just crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm from South Dakota. I've worked with farmers and agriculture, and just seeing that transplanted to this environment, you would have never believed.
In the middle of Chicago, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're always looking for volunteers, especially for their job readiness programs, or again, if you like just want to get involved with their gardening or
Yeah. Check out our
anything else like
episode.
that.
Like, we get to tour their farm. Kevin
Yeah,
does
it's
some
very
crazy
Drones.
drone shots of people
Yes.
working. Like Joe and I get to see.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
get to see like these big tomatoes and everything else
Yeah.
they had. It
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
Episode- really good one.
Episode 2,
Season 2,
or
episode
season
1.
2, episode 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
cool.
And for people that don't see the seasons anymore, we converted it from seasons to now just episode numbers.
So it's episode
Yes.
11 now, technically.
I think
I
so,
think so.
yeah.
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 Well, we won't get into the details. Just watch the episode.
And
Have
remember,
fun.
you were supposed to keep us on track.
And volunteer.
Sorry.
Who's
Here
up
we go.
next?
What's
What's
next?
next?
Yes.
What do we got?
Who's next?
I'll go.
Who's taking the burrito?
Corey.
All right.
Thanks. I'll take the talking burrito. So, the episode that I wanted to highlight, I believe, is season 3, episode 5. We'll fact check that, but it is Kids First Chicago with Daniel Anello. I'll talk a little bit more about why I think it pulled on my heartstrings a little bit, and it really resonated with me. But stay tuned for a quick clip on Kids First Chicago.
So thanks everyone for joining this episode. Today we have Daniel Anello, who's CEO of Kids First Chicago, with us.
The concept was really that. It was, how do you go to parents who really are making a ton of decisions about their kids' education for the majority of their youths, and work with them to understand what they want and need in the education system. And then how do you actually actuate that from a policy and system standpoint, where they're not out of the process, but they're actually co-designing and co-creating with us. Yeah, so our work starts and really ends with families and what they tell us kind of are the key priorities. And so we've been fortunate to work with families that have raised issues, and community groups too. Like, there's partners that are part of this as well.
And we're
Oh,
back.
yeah. And
Awesome. Hope you all enjoyed that quick clip from Daniel at Kids First Chicago. And just to in summary again of what Kids First Chicago is, it's an organization that's truly focusing on high quality education and like policies and practices for families and kids here in Chicago, in the Chicagoland area. So I think that really resonated with me. I think I talked a little bit about like education is kind of my background. I work with helping students and families get college access to universities and colleges across the country. So his episode obviously touched me in a way that was really intimate. It's my job.
Yes.
So, but I really had some moments of, wow, I didn't really understand how how many gaps there were for families in Chicago based on some of the things they're working on. If y'all remember, like the Chicago Connected, or like part of their organization that they launched, it was because like 1 in 5 kids that they learned about in the COVID pandemic area did not have access to broadband internet across the city. 1 in 5. And if you think about that, kids are like all trying to do school virtually over the past year. Like,
I mean, could you guys
That's
survive
tough.
without internet?
We wouldn't be here today.
You
if we
couldn't do
didn't.
anything without internet.
You would not have a live stream.
Right.
That's
like, we are
20% of children who didn't
so
have broadband
fortunate.
internet.
We are
Yep.
so fortunate to
Yeah.
be able to do this right now and have internet, that like mundane things like that we think about, or like the fact that I'm able to work from home, Joe's able to work from home, right? Like is a luxury for some people. And yeah, I think that really rung true with me, especially like even some of the other things that they were standing up, and just the way they go about addressing some of these things. Like they really involve the constituents of their communities that they're supporting. I love that. Like, you know, when there's problems or there's things that need to be addressed within our education systems here in Chicago, we need to ask the families who it's going to affect, not necessarily the people who are making those policies. What's best. And he talked a lot about that, right? Like it's making sure that the families are continuously involved in what they need and what's going to get their kids the best education at the end of the day.
Yep, he
He
spoke
was
a
a
lot.
true advocate.
Yeah, and I can't even remember how many kids they ended up providing.
It was 100,000.
Was it 100,000?
Yeah, 100,000
Which
kids.
is just mind blowing
Through
to
the
know.
Chicago Connected.
Like that's
Holy
just
smokes.
that's just like such a large impact
I
for
know.
500,000?
100,000.
100.
Still, that's
Yeah.
that's half a
That's a lot of
million
kids.
total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think their next step is actually to work and help families. Like first and foremost, they wanted to help the kids with the schooling issue and like that problem and getting them internet. And they're moving on to the whole families essentially having access
Makes
to
sense.
internet. But yeah, they worked, I want to say, with the city of Chicago specifically on that.
Yep.
It's called, again, Chicago Connected, through Comcast, through I think RCN, and the city of Chicago actually covers the bill
Yeah.
for that
Yeah.
internet, which
Yeah, they subsidize the discounted
is
bill.
amazing, right?
Yep. And yeah, they worked with the internet service providers too to make that
Correct.
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember Daniel mentioning that like key to their organization is hearing from the community and hearing from the parents about what the kids need.
He called them like co-designers or like
Yes.
co-creators
Yes.
of
Yes.
the policies.
Yep.
Like I think he really wants them to feel empowered to go to their aldermans and like go to their local elected officials and feel confident in what they
Yeah.
need. So I think
Yeah.
part of what they provide is actually support on how to do that.
Yep.
Because like we were talking about,
Yeah.
how daunting would that be to go to like
what
your
would
alderman?
you how would you go about that without like
It's
an
intimidating, you don't know
Yeah.
where it's at. Yeah.
No, no. Yeah, and then even like his personal background and story, just like again, pulled on my heartstrings. Like I really felt like his story, you could tell it was why he does what he does. Like he came from a rural area in upstate New York, interracial family. Like he's super passionate about like civil rights and things of that nature because he had to deal with a lot of like those biases growing up. And that education was a privilege, essentially, because it wasn't something that, like, even between him and some of his family members, they had different experiences, and you could see the difference between those two, and it was pretty powerful.
Yeah.
he has that whole
Overall.
bit where he talked about how at one point he was talking to parents and there was like over 200 different types of applications for high schools.
It was 300 different types of applications.
That blows my
for
mind.
CPS, so for Chicago Public Schools. That was in the past. They worked on getting one single application now, though.
Yep.
Which is amazing. Like, so their organization helped CPS get one single application for students to enroll in high school versus 300.
That's so crazy.
Do you imagine how, like,
ridiculous that would be? You'd give up
well,
on
and
the
families and
after the
parents that don't
three.
have time to understand the nuances to make sure that their students are getting, like, the best quality or into the right school they need to get into.
Yeah,
And
or we'd love to admit your kid,
Oh
but you
my
filled out the wrong
gosh.
application.
Yeah.
Yep.
How do we know that was the wrong application? Oh gosh.
Right. It was, yeah, it was a lot. And yeah, You and Daniel were vibing.
We were
sure
vibing, yeah.
On that, on
Kids
that
first.
episode.
Yeah, Kids First Chicago, Daniel and Ello.
Yeah.
Yep. Really
Yep.
cool organization.
Check out his episode. Check out his
Yeah.
nonprofit and organization. It sounds like they do a lot of work again around policies and just like laws and things like that having to do with families and youth here in Chicago, mostly around education, but sometimes other things. So if that's something that you're passionate about, for sure check them out.
Yep.
Needed to give them some love. That was mine.
Your mom says you're the Cheech. Joey,
Oh, yeah.
you're the
That's,
Patagonia model.
Yeah, your dad's
Sponsored by
Yes.
Patagonia.
Yes,
That's
Chris.
my
I am
that's my nickname.
only Patagonia clothing for me.
Sponsored by Patagonia over
Yes.
here. Yep.
And Sam, that's a really, really interesting note you put in there. We're going to open this discussion up after we finish some of the stories that we're sharing. We have 2 more, and then we're going to open it up to all you. So get questions ready, and we
Questions for sure.
have a spill the tea fishbowl thing as well.
Thanks for joining us, David.
Yes.
She mentioned like she never had to apply to high school where she grew up.
Yeah.
And neither did I.
I mean,
I wanna
neither
learn
did
that.
I
High
didn't
school.
even know that was a thing. They had to
Well,
apply.
I think it's because it's at CPS. It's a lottery system in terms of like if they want to go to a magnet high school that's in the city or like a
see,
a high school that specializes in something.
Yeah.
Um,
Which that to
they don't
me,
have the same education at every single high school.
I guess
in
that
the
kind of
city.
like ties into like a larger problem of like
It is. I mean,
I don't know I don't know
Yeah.
what the
Yeah.
magic wand or the
Yeah.
fix is, but like just the fact that like
mm-hmm,
there has to be a lottery
in general.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just, again, it goes down to like different high schools in the city get different resources, they get different programs, different types of education. And I think, again, that's a lot of what Daniel and his organization are trying to
Trying to
combat
fix,
and
yeah.
like help families understand how to get, again, the best education for their kids at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
Cheers to Daniel.
cheers to
Daniel.
Daniel.
Ted
Oh my
Daniel.
gosh.
Kids
And
Cheers,
Kids
Daniel.
Kids First
Kids First
Chicago.
Chicago.
Who's that?
Vince.
Because
All right.
kids are first.
Right.
Talking burrito.
Talking burrito.
So,
You have your prop too.
yeah. So part of greater than 0% is, we've been talking a lot about Chicago, nonprofits Chicago issues, but the issue, sorry,
Speak
Our-
words.
Yes.
words come please.
Okay.
Our
community
focus
happy
has
hour.
always been focusing on the organizations and the people who are bettering the world around them. The world could be their community, it could be their city, it could be their state, it could be their country, it could be the world. And this next organization that I want to talk about, Watts of Love, is definitely impacting the world.
Yes.
So real quick, here's Watts of Love.
Today we have Christy Dunn, who is Director of Operations at Watts of Love. Christy, thank you so much for joining us today.
So we're a nonprofit organization. We bring solar lights to areas that do not have an electrical grid. They're using flames or other sources of lighting or complete darkness. And we are teaching communities and families how to use the light as a tool to lift themselves out of poverty. Bad things happen in the dark. Having a light discourages that. A lot of us have floodlights, and when you're in complete darkness, the light is a very big deterrent. But the most important thing we convey is now that you have this light, not only are you saving, but it's so important to think about what are your big dreams? What do you want to do? Now that you have this light, you can be productive for more hours in the evening.
And we're back. Sorry, I'm one man banding over here, pressing all the buttons.
You're doing great, Vince.
So,
It's doing great, Vince.
this
Don't
is
worry about it.
this is Watts of Love. Watts of Love. Their main thing. Sorry, I shouldn't say thing. The main way they help, as you've seen, is they create these solar powered lights that they help distribute. If this will work. Did I charge it?
You gotta hold it.
Hold it.
Press it hard.
Oh,
There
there we
it
go.
is.
Oh, there we go. So this is a little light that you can either wear as like a headband, you can have a strap for it. But the idea is, let's replace the flammable sources of light that people are using in developing countries, give them something to help, ward off danger at night, help them be more productive. And this really spoke to me because having worked in places like Vietnam where there's a lot of unequal development between you have high rises and next to shacks.
Yep.
And you see people just kind of, for even the basic necessities like light, internet like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Once you make these things available to people, you really do start unlocking their potential.
It's real bright.
Yeah,
I'll turn it down.
I think
Oh, it flashes.
I definitely
Danger.
think this was definitely one of those episodes where I forget that I guess all of us are privileged enough, but we live in a world where I just assumed like light, like
Electricity is
I
there.
just thought-
yeah, like light is
I
there.
mean, I just, not even like electricity, but I just thought like even having light to work at night, I just assumed that was, I didn't even think that that's something that, and you mentioned people, but kids are using kerosene and like
Right.
burning themselves. And like, this was definitely an episode that shined a light
No pun intended.
on just like something that I just had no idea was
Yeah.
even something on the radar that
Didn't they say too, like sometimes there's like kids accidentally like drink it because they don't know what it is, like the kerosene or something.
Well, they drink and they get
Yeah.
burned.
And
Like they
get
have
burned.
burns.
yeah.
They also, yeah.
Yeah, and
Let
the
it
fumes as well. Yeah.
Well, and in these countries where you don't have the infrastructure, you
Yeah.
know, a burn could start your whole house on fire.
Yep.
Right.
yes, that was true. Yeah.
And I think one of the other really big stats was I think like 10 to 30% of their household income is towards buying the kerosene.
I think it was
to
on
get
like
the lamps.
the higher end.
Yeah, it was like
30%.
So imagine if your electric bill was 30% of what your income was. It just like blows my mind at how much. And so
Yeah.
giving them these lights
Yeah.
not only removes that 30% that you can maybe go invest in your business or your family or like
Education.
food.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You almost take that question one step further. Like Joe and I were sitting there talking on the way home after we did that interview, and Joe was like, "What would you do if you had 30% of your paycheck back?
Yeah.
Like what? Because that's what happens with these families. They get these lights. They don't have to put 30% of their paycheck back into the kerosene, into other things. So what do you do with that money? And a lot of, I think, what Watts of Love is teaches them what to do with that money.
Yep.
Right? Like
Absolutely.
they teach them how to invest, how to save.
Mm-hmm.
And they also have a program on how to create their own jobs, right? Like out of it.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a job thing too?
I think it's teaching them how to use that extra money that you're saving. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
In the clip that we showed, what country were they in? Were they in Mali or
Oh.
Ghana?
We've visited
or-
so
Great
many
I
question.
can't
countries,
remember,
yeah.
but I do know that they have coming up later this year. Guatemala is on
Mm-hmm.
the list, and there is definitely an opportunity for people to sign up and volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, due to COVID, things are like in flux, but
They started up again.
I feel
Yeah,
like
they did.
In
yeah, I was gonna
January
say
was their
I
first
was gonna say
mission.
that they're still doing their trips, but that's again another opportunity for people to get involved and or like help out
Yeah.
in other countries as well.
That's like a great point. They go on really impactful but also
Like trips.
neat
Yes.
trips. Like I
And
think they're
yeah,
called
I
mission
think
trips,
they
but
deliver them and then like
They-
teach them how to use
Yep.
it.
correct.
Yep.
They deliver the lights, so you would like help deliver those lights, teach them how to use it. But then again, like you teach them about the investment piece too, like financially,
Yep.
financial
Budgeting,
literacy, and
yeah,
like
Exactly.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there a model where, like, for those of us who purchase these, doesn't a portion
Yeah.
you
one
buy-
gets donated.
basically
I
you
think
buy
it's
one and one gets donated, right? Like
Right.
Tom's.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So we bought that one. $50, buy one, and one's donated.
Yep.
Lots of love.
Yep.
Yes.
So you can help donate. Also, they have a really interesting model. I don't know if like your company or like business is looking for organizations to do things like this. They actually have a model where your organization can
Sponsor.
become and sponsor.
Yeah.
Like they give you all of this like I think like tools and toolkits to promote to your company about their organization. It's like another arm of their their nonprofit.
Yeah.
I forget about
Yeah, they
like
have a
what it
toolkit for
actually
fun-
is called.
a toolkit for
it's a
fundraising,
toolkit
too.
for fundraising.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, that's
feel
what
like
it
all
was.
of
Toolkit.
this-
It was like when I was
yes.
trying to like remember what it was. It's like it's like a marketing toolkit.
Yeah, I think all of this will definitely need to sit down afterward.
It kind of reminds me of if anyone's done the American Heart Association walk, like my company does that, and they send like a whole toolkit for you to fundraise with like your family and friends. Watts of Love does the exact
Yeah.
same thing. So it's like, how do you help Watts of Love scale their model?
Yep.
Yes.
And again, you can do that through like your corporation, your business, your company that you work for, if they're looking for more organizations.
Yeah.
True. To watts of love.
To lots of love.
To lots of love.
So what's it?
Buy a light, shine a light.
I forget which
Yeah.
Episode and
Violet
season
Channel.
they are.
That's definitely season
Mid-
21.
Season 3.
Yeah,
21.
21.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I know.
episode
All the
21.
shorts have the episode number on them. They don't quite line up, but don't sweat us the details. Just watch the episodes.
We'll figure it out.
And next up,
Oh,
It's
taco
you, sir.
burrito. Okay, so, and again, I'm highlighting this episode not because it's like I like it more than everyone. It's just because it has a very special place in my heart. So the juvenile temporary detention center, which is where I started a lot
You
of
started
my
this all, I feel
yeah,
like.
yeah, a lot of my
Your whole
volunteering.
journey.
I think my first
Yeah.
volunteering over like half of a decade ago was in the juvenile temporary detention center. So we're gonna play a clip from Minister Williams for that interview. We are here today with Minister William Stewart, who works here at Juvenile Temporary Detention Center. So it's an honor for us to be here. Thank you so much for hosting us.
Thank you. So I was that kid that was angry, was upset. My hero became my villain. We all look at daddies as heroes. So I'm what you call a wounded healer. I used to be a chaplain at UIC Hospital, and we did this study about knowing yourself and understanding who you are. And so I'm a wounded healer, right? Been there, spent the night, got a t-shirt to show for it, right? So I understand when I look in the eyes of some of these youth, where they coming from. And people could have just wrote me off, and they didn't.
Oh.
Yeah, so Nick, you just put a comment. Is that where we did the start of the bachelor party? So, quick background story for
I was
everyone.
gonna say bachelor
bachelor
party.
party, nonprofit
right,
volunteering.
so-
This is so great. This
Yeah.
story. I love it. It's so you.
Yeah, so Corey and I, for our bachelorette party, did a joint day where at the end of like midday through the end of the night, we brought both parties together, did a bus, went to drink,
We don't
whatever.
need to go into
But before
details.
that, we were doing our own thing. So the girls were getting their hair done, getting nails.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so one of the other nonprofits, Precious Blood Ministry Reconciliation, that I volunteered for, they were purchased and built a new house to house re-entering citizens and youth in back of the yards on the south side of Chicago. And they need a lot of furniture. And we had some really big pieces of furniture that we needed, or that they needed.
We needed to
and we
deliver.
had.
We needed
Yes.
to deliver.
And
To
so
get
I'm
rid
like,
of.
well, I have 10 guys here.
Strong men.
So
that
let's take
can,
the first half of the morning and actually get some work done. And so we got a big U-Haul or trucks, and I brought them down to the back of the yards to Precious Blood to unload all these gifts. So
So that was
Nick,
the first day of Joe's bachelor party.
yes,
Volunteering.
yes, yes,
Shout
volunteering
out
for the-
Smalls wedding party.
yes,
Smaller wedding party.
yes, volunteering for the bachelor party. Yes. So there's a long-winded answer to your question.
Yes.
Yes.
So what we just showed, Juvenile Temporary Detention Center, Minister Williams. This is the largest by population juvenile center in the nation, and it is on the west side of Chicago. And before COVID, and 5 years before that, every Thursday I would go there and basically hang out with the guys, play cards, play basketball. It's called the Ministry of Presence. So it's not like my goal there was to change the kids or to help or what. It was just more
Or
so.
talk to them like
Yeah,
spiritually.
it's just- exactly.
It's really just
So it's just to be there,
Just to have
be
Be a
present,
present.
Yeah.
be talk, let them know that they're human.
human.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of stereotypes in Chicago, and there's a lot of fingers being pointed, and people just think that, well, if you make a decision, you have to bear the consequences, which is some truth to that, but people are put in different circumstances that are much different from us. And so the Juvenile Temporary Detention Center was a very close place in my heart. So it was awesome that we were able to get on site at this juvenile center and do this interview with Minister Williams, because they had a really, really big impact. And he talked a lot about the programs that he is running with these kids, and the impact that he's having and trying to have with these kids in the juvenile center. So it was a really cool episode, really did my heart. So I was a big fan of it.
yeah. I think one thing that's really important to share, and I think is the type of impact that you can have on these kids by volunteering at GTDC. Like, Joe is a pen pal with a kid right now that you've been like doing letters back and forth to each other for what, 3 years?
Yeah, it's been a few years. Yeah.
Jesse.
Yep. Yeah, he moved out of the juvenile center and now he's in Department of Corrections, so kind of the adult facility, and they have a really cool texting application. So instead of what we used to have to do is write hand letters, now we can actually send kind of messages via text. So it's it's really cool.
It's such a strange like twist there, because I remember when you took me there, we literally drove through this underground secure parking facility. We had to go through all these checks, and it was just like, this is for kids.
Yeah.
And it was so, and just to find out how big it was,
Yeah.
and the fact that you need people like volunteers, and you need people like Minister Stewart to show the kids like, hey, there's still a human element.
Yeah.
And
They're kids.
And I think he talked a lot about that in his episode, was the programs that they're a part of while they're there. They try to show them and have them do activities of things they can do while they're out. Like there's a barber school.
There's a barber
within.
school. They
Yeah,
teach
that's
plumbing.
really
Yep.
good, yeah.
They do plumbing. They do a couple different things.
Painting.
You've
Yep.
gotten your hair cut there a couple of
Yeah.
times.
Oh yeah, they've cut my hair a few times. I've had to go to Supercuts
I
the
know.
day after a couple of times,
That's
but
okay.
they're getting the training.
Hey,
there was
they're
that
training.
story.
They're
It's
training.
all for the cause.
It is.
When you guys get to watch the episode later, there's a story that the Minister Stewart shares about a kid who went viral for just doing all sorts of crazy things like drinking and smoking, and he's like 7 or 8 or whatever at the time of the video.
Yeah.
But then Minister Stewart said that he's now like full-fledged, has his own barbershop, like just on the up and up, and that's amazing.
Yeah. Definitely. It's very sobering, because I think the average age range of kids is like 13 to 18 sometimes, but sometimes they get like 11-year-olds. It's like, what were you doing when you were 11? Like I was in 6th grade. I was like going through puberty. Like,
I think it goes back to like the product of the cycle that you're in, and like the environment that some of these kids are in. And I think that's like, again, when you started your work and you'd come back and talk to me about some of the stuff, that you experienced there, it's like, again, a sobering moment, but it also reminded me that a lot of these kids have experiences I have no idea about, and like I cannot even relate. I cannot even understand. And and I think a lot of the work that like places like PBMR try to do is to help like disconnect that cycle and not have them back into juvenile temporary detention center again. So I think there's a lot of good organizations out there that are trying to help the kids in JTDC not get put back in there at the end of the day, because sometimes it is a full, like,
It is.
it's just a cycle where maybe they don't have a place to go back to after they get out of JTDC, and so there's organizations like Precious Blood where they can either maybe be housed for a little bit once they're out.
They have a place where people could talk about what they're going through with people that have gone through it, have mentors, have job readiness. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All the things to kind of get you back on your feet.
So,
cheers to Minister Williams at Juvenile
Minister
Temporary Detention
Williams.
Center.
yeah.
And Precious
I feel
Blood.
left out
And
here.
PBMR.
I'm just
I
like,
know.
cheers this, honey.
That works too. All right, so sneak peeks.
I think we should talk a little bit about some sneak peeks.
Things we are all excited about that are coming up.
Who's first? Who's got the burrito?
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Burritos. I'm failing at using this burrito.
I know. We need to work on our
Why
burrito
don't you
skills.
start? You start. You've got it.
Yeah, you got it.
So I'm excited we already have 6 episodes recorded that haven't been released yet, folks. All right, so we're like good for a month and a half.
Wow.
And we are going international. So one of our episodes is an organization that is in Palestine. So I'm excited that we're expanding. I love Chicago. I'm excited that we're expanding beyond Chicago, beyond Illinois, beyond even the U.S. in some respects, and maybe even traveling there to get some interviews. We're still determining where we want to go, but I'm excited for where the travel is going to go, and like how big we're trying to make greater than 0%, because like we said in the beginning, not everyone maybe is inspired by maybe a specific organization in Chicago. Maybe they want something in a different country, from a country that their family or their heritage is from. So we're trying to really expand it and travel. Another thing I'm pumped about is we're expanding our partnerships with other organizations like Amazon. And
Represent.
yeah, they've been helping us a lot.
Snap for
Yes.
Amazon.
Yes,
Snap,
Snaps for
snap,
Amazon. They've been helping us a lot connect
Good.
organizations with
Organizations.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. Organizations with some of the items that they need to serve the community that they serve. So like PPE, like food, like housing.
Strollers.
Yeah, strollers,
Baby
diapers,
food.
clothing, baby food.
Wheelchairs.
Yeah,
Wheelchairs.
For wheelchairs
Yep.
is
Yep.
pretty cool.
So I think to date,
Yeah, do we have a number?
I think it's like a little over 50,000.
50.
now.
Yeah, I think so. 50,000 items. I think we've connected.
$50,000 worth of items.
Yes. Yeah, items. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, sorry.
So items we've been able to allocate to these organizations.
My bad.
And
Good.
for people that haven't seen the stats on our website too, we've interviewed 31 organizations so far. So we're on episode 32, which is cool. We're pumped about it. And so, yeah, those are some of the things I'm excited about. So if you know of any other non-for-profit organizations, refer them to us. We are
Yes.
excited
Oh, yeah.
to interview them and share their story because that's,
Yeah.
why we're here.
I think that is something that I just want to overstress is that like we are constantly looking for if there's an organization you volunteered with that has touched your life in the past, like we want to figure out a way, how can we fundraise, how can we get them on all of these platforms that we're running, how can we get them help, and then also get our friends and family and people in our world that typically maybe wouldn't have heard of an organization. Like we are looking for referrals constantly, and I think that the more we get, the more opportunities there are to reach more in the community. And I also think too, like you had mentioned, international, like we're a 4-person team. Like we could
Yeah.
definitely have more, like if you're interested in volunteering, like internationally.
We want to be Pitbull. We want to be Mr. International.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
we're ready to go global. So
Hashtag be Pitbull.
Also,
I think that's the theme.
I think with referrals, maybe Kevin, you can talk a little bit about your sneak peek because we are looking for some additional referrals in a different way.
Yes.
Boom, talking burrito.
Yes, another referral. So as you can see, we're going live here now. We actually have, I think, 5 or so galas and or fundraisers that we have already been invited to. So we are essentially going live at galas, fundraisers, any sort of way that we can get our network connected to galas and or fundraisers out in the community. It doesn't necessarily have to be in just Chicago, but I'm sure we can figure out a way to
Yeah.
do it
Yeah.
other ways.
We
But
We just want to help get the word out for your event. Also, if you need help putting on an event like that, whether that be planning it, how to live stream it, how to do whatever.
Yep.
We may not know the answers all the time, but between the 4 of us and all the people we know, there's got to be some
We've
way,
got connections.
yes,
somehow we can
have
help.
connections. We want to take fundraisers to TikTok. We want to live stream them. We want to get them out to as many people as possible. So again, if you know of an organization that has fundraisers or opportunities for someone to volunteer coming up, like definitely let us know.
Heck yeah.
Cool.
Burrito.
Burrito.
I'll say my sneak peek is more about some of the topics we'll be covering in the upcoming episodes. One that I felt like I got the most education from watching it being filmed and listening to the founder and CEO. I'm not going to say what it was yet or who it was, but the topic was around human trafficking, and I realized I had a lot of preconceived notions of what that meant, and she myth busted all of them.
Yes.
And it was funny because we went in and I was like, whenever I think about human trafficking, I think about Taken.
Yeah.
And that is
Liam
exactly
Neeson.
what she said.
Yep.
She was like, that is what most people
Abroad.
think about.
Yep.
They think about abroad. They
It's
don't think
somewhere
about the
over
United
there.
States.
Yeah.
Right? And it's a real and a big issue here in the United States, much more than I ever thought it would be. So I think that's one of my sneak peeks is a highlight of a topic that we'll be covering is, again, around human trafficking here domestically and
Yep.
just like, again, how you can become more educated and awareness of what that means and how
Yep.
you can help.
Yep.
So.
And I think one of the stats of this organization that you'll see soon is in Chicago, 25,000 women are trafficked every year. So, yeah, that's just
Every
like a
year.
little teaser.
Yeah.
Like 25,000 women in Chicago only are trafficked every year. So, definitely tune in and get ready for this episode because it's very educational.
Yeah, I think that was like the big thing is like, again, I always thought human trafficking, that's something that happens in,
Yeah.
I don't
Not
know.
here.
I don't know.
It's
Not
not
here.
here, like
It's-
not in
yeah.
Chicago,
US of A.
and also like not in like our neighborhood or like not in like. You always just think not my neighborhood. Like
Yeah.
trafficking is just not something that happens here, and she definitely shined a light on not only where it happens, but also even like things like the reason why it's happening, why some women go back to it as well was like something that.
Yeah.
I also thought was like very inspiring, but also like eye opening.
Yeah. Definitely.
She also talked a lot about like why it's not being talked about too, which
Yeah.
was really
Yeah.
interesting to me to hear.
Do you
Because I think that goes
yeah.
back to like education and awareness that we don't have is because again it's not talked about
Yeah,
broadly
I don't know
here in
why.
the United States.
I don't know why.
I think just
So-
people don't know the definition of it because when I think trafficking, I think sexual trafficking, but there's a lot more
There's different
to
types.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
Totally.
so tune in. It's an episode coming up.
Yes.
Burrito on the house over here, Vince.
Oh, cool.
Uh,
Oh,
uh,
this is why I didn't do team
That was
sports.
aggressive.
That's why I didn't do
on
team sports.
camera.
That was
Um,
I'm sorry, Vince.
So,
Oh.
so I didn't know we were doing sneak peeks, but just
Yes.
for spur of the moment, as you can see over here, Kevin has on
Yes.
our very brand new,
The black
And-
shirt,
and
Yeah.
Corey.
very brand new,
And Corey.
and Corey.
the
We
white
have-
shirt.
Sorry,
have
I have to
merch.
flip cameras. We have official greater than 0% merch.
Yes.
These are
Yes,
great
Yes, yes.
hoodies, Bella and canvas, so they're very
Gala and
soft.
canvas.
And
Oh,
we've
yeah.
got some face masks and some other things coming up too.
They're good
Um,
material, I promise.
And no promises, but if you, if we raise enough and we meet our, oh gosh,
Siri. Quiet.
Sorry, Siri.
She, this community.
putting this
happy
out
hour.
here on the interwebs, if we get enough, if we set a goal of some sort, it doesn't have to be a
Yeah.
specific goal, whether it be monetary, followers, whatever. We hit that
Yeah.
goal, what we will release the first ever greater than 0% mixtape and
Mix-
music
What does
video.
that even mean?
I don't even know what the music's
Yeah.
putting
You
out
just
on the
made that up,
interwebs.
but we're
Yes.
gonna do it.
Yeah, so decide a goal. We get the goal.
Oh my
Are
gosh.
you singing?
I.
I think.
We're gonna auto
Did
tune
you
the
sign yourself
No,
up
no,
for
I signed
that?
everybody
Okay,
up.
okay.
We're gonna make a music video.
All right. Well, we have until Sunday to do
Yes.
that.
No, we
All I
won't.
know is that yes, there's gonna be more sweatshirts,
More swag, more merch.
more swag.
I do need to plug. These are from PBMR.
Precious Blood,
From
Yes,
Precious Blood.
Precious Blood.
So they have a printing crew.
Will we have links on our website sometime soon for people?
Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. You'll be
There's
able to
gonna
buy
be-
it. Of course, all the profits that you buy, that you spend, and go to this organization, go to us, go to the work that we're doing to actually interview all these people, to travel, to all
Yeah.
the gear and all the time and whatnot. So
Because we are officially 5013C.
almost. We're
Almost.
officially a
Almost
Almost
nonprofit.
there.
The IRS is delaying on our 501c.
Well, the IRS is swamped right now.
So you will be able
They're
to
working on
claim
taxes,
it on your
yeah.
tax return soon. Not yet, but soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
More to come, but they're comfy.
I
They
promise
feel
they're-
great.
I'm a big
It's like a blanket.
texture person. They're
Yep.
great.
Yep.
Right.
And then the note that you mentioned,
Great.
Precious Blood has a printing press. Precious Blood, we've mentioned them a couple times on this live stream. They are a youth organization on the back of the yards, and they teach the kiddos how to actually do the printing press or do the shirts. So really cool organization, cool shirts, keeping it within the family of greater than 0%.
So if you've got, I don't know, like company
Company
outings that are
yes.
happening eventually the next year,
They're happening.
or you need some shirts for your business, for anything made.
Face masks.
Face masks. We have face masks
We have
actually.
face masks.
Hopefully we
With
won't
the
need a much
logo.
We have a full merch,
So,
Yeah.
site launching soon.
and I will say their wholesale is pretty great in terms of if you want to buy from them.
Yeah.
And here in the Midwest, you never know if it's gonna
Yeah.
be sunny one day or chilly and bone chilly. I can't.
Bone dry.
Bone,
Whatever the
dry.
next day. So always
Bone
having a
dry.
bone
hoodie.
dry.
Sorry guys, I suck at words today. What's
Uh,
on? What's
What
next?
are
What's
words?
next?
Before we go on to spill the tea,
Yeah.
Yes.
I think we had some questions maybe in the chat,
Yes.
right? Like,
Let's ask some.
we could do the questions, or we
Questions.
could do spill the tea.
Nick
Either
said
one.
he
I would
votes
say,
on.
yeah, let's go to questions first.
Wasn't there a few questions at the beginning? maybe?
I don't think so yet. But folks, we are about to start opening up for questions, so get ready.
Yes.
We are going to move to our spill the tea segment. Corey, what is spill the tea?
What is
Spill the tea.
Spill the tea.
Can somebody? I'm sorry, I'm halfway through pregnancy and I cannot bend over and grab. Nope.
Oh,
The fishbowl
you
for the fish tea.
I thought you were wanting your water.
No, well, thank you.
Okay.
Staying hydrated. So spill the tea is we're gonna go around and kind of answer some questions.
Spill it.
Whether it's from the fishbowl, from the audience.
Yeah,
we
we
also
need
have
some
some topics
questions.
in the fishbowl that we may talk about. So yeah, these were kind of like some preset questions
Yes.
we thought through, as well as topics.
Yeah. Start with the first fishbowl.
Kevin, start us off.
Who gets to answer first?
You got,
Oh.
what is it? Everyone answers, but
What do we not know about you?
About who?
Each other.
About-
each other.
About
Like one thing we don't know, like maybe the
Who?
audience doesn't know about us, or like we don't know.
Yeah,
about
let's
each
get to
other.
know. Let's get to know one another.
You gotta start though. What do we not know about you, Kevin?
Okay, so I don't know if a lot of people know this about me, but I was actually originally born in Brazil.
Heck
I
yeah.
moved to the U.S. when I was 7. My parents actually adopted me while I was in Brazil. So I just remember growing up in Brazil. Again, my parents were missionaries, and I just remember like traveling around. We had so many life experiences that I still look back on, just knowing like we definitely live in a world that there is some people who just aren't blessed with the same lives that we have. So I think that was something that even still to this day, I remember just like there's a whole world out there that we are very lucky that we live in here. So yeah, I think that's just like something that not
Something
a lot of
you don't know.
people,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's a cool fact.
That
though.
is like
Fact.
I
Yeah.
learned that about you
Facts.
when we
You're
were
like,
doing
"What?"
one of the last recordings,
Mhm.
and I didn't know that about
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Brazilian.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Brazilian,
badass.
American, Brazilian.
Represent.
Very cool.
Who wants to go?
You.
Who's next?
You got
I feel like
the
you already
burrito.
know
I
what
feel
you're
like
gonna
I
say.
can't follow up to that. Like my
Yes.
my like what
Okay,
does people
there
not know
wasn't
about
even
me?
like
Oh,
that.
gosh.
You put the
That's
nice
deep.
positivity twist
Alright.
on it.
Yeah.
What some people that don't know about, most people don't know about me. I would say some friends, mostly family, do know. You may know this too. Technically,
so.
there is a statue of me in the world. It's in my hometown.
Wait.
So-
you have a
Okay.
statue of you?
There's a statue of me
it's
as a
not-
little
just-
girl.
It's not a
Just
happy.
one
It's not a
up.
happy
No,
statue.
no, there's like, okay, let me
It's a-
explain it. I
okay.
can explain. It's a memorial statue
Yeah,
that.
that's true.
So I don't remember when this was, but there was like a really bad, I think it was either Metra or Amtrak crash that happened near my hometown, and a lot of kids and kiddos passed away in that crash. And so they asked my mom, who is an artist, to like sketch up a statue to put in my town for those kids. And she used myself and my neighbor for the little boy and the little girl, and so there's
Where
technically a
can-
statue of me in
Where can
my
people
hometown.
find this? Where
It's
is it?
right across
What's
the street in Bourbonnais, Illinois, from Olivet Nazarene University. It is
An hour
literally
drive
like
south.
You can Google
right there.
it.
You can Google it.
Yeah.
Google
Bourbonnais,
Maps,
like
Bourbonnais.
statue,
I
memorial
feel like we need a
statue,
picture
and it's
showing
me.
the
I know.
picture,
We
so-
need
Yeah.
to.
It is me.
Yeah.
Vince.
That's my fun fact.
Oh man.
Something we don't know about you.
Oh, you guys don't know about me. I guess at one point in time I was a competitive weightlifter,
Heck yeah.
Okay.
Gains.
Wow.
and now I just
Gains.
instead of lifting weight, I just
Yoked.
gained weight.
I mean, you still lift
I mean,
Yeah, you're still lifting it.
Self.
It's just
okay.
attached. No, I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. Oh,
What
that's
got
awesome.
you into competitive weightlifting?
I did it in high school. I did it mostly to have an activity to do during the winter, spring, between track and cross country, and I was really good at deadlifting. At one point in my life, I weighed 118 pounds, but I could deadlift 350 pounds, which was a school record and state record and all that. But I was with a bunch of scrawny guys, and then I went to Loyola, and you know what happens in college. If you're not an athlete in college. Sorry, you guys are the athletes
It's
here.
okay.
You
Yeah.
guys.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's hilarious.
It's funny. Joe just looked at me and was like, "What do I say?"
I don't know what.
What's
Oh,
funny
some people-
is like,
I get.
Go
I
ahead.
don't know. I don't know. This is not as too fun. So, my dad played professional football for 2 years. I have a place where I'm going with this story. And when he was playing professional football, he took ballet class to help him be light on his feet, which is really cool.
NFL players do that apparently.
Yeah, apparently. So like he's a tight end. And so when I went to college, I had some classes that I needed to take, some core classes. I'm like, I want to follow my dad and take a dance class. So I took modern dance because I thought modern, so cool, like I could wear, like what's the
You thought it was hip hop.
or
and
like like break
he thought it was,
dancing,
like,
wearing
breakdancing.
baggy clothes, like that movie with Channing Tatum, the first one,
Oh
like
my god.
what is
That's different.
Step
kind
up.
of-
so I
Step
thought
up,
that was
step
modern,
up.
like modern
Oh.
step
Not
up.
that.
So I'm like
Not
step up.
Magic Mike.
Not Magic
Okay.
Mike. Step up.
There
Not
are
that
two
dance.
different kinds of modern dance.
Different type of
Yeah.
dancing.
So I thought it was step
Yeah.
up, and then I get the syllabus after signing up, and it's like you have to have jazz pants, and you have to have
A
it's
jazz
basically
belt?
a jazz belt. And so I was the
Which are,
only
like,
I was the only
tights
identified male in the class, and it was modern 2, not modern 1, because I'm like I have rhythm. I could I don't need to go to modern 1
Do
class.
you?
There's
I do have
apparently
rhythm,
footage
yeah.
out there of this that I have never seen.
You will never see.
So
But
if you were
apparently
in
there's footage. So
if you were
if
in
you've
Loyola's
got
Modern
it-
Dance Crew in, was it 2012, 2011, somewhere around there?
yeah, I think it's sophomore junior year. Yeah.
If you have
of
footage
the
of that,
Rambler
submit it.
Joe Smalzer doing the dance club.
Yes. Yeah.
Class.
There could be
Please
a
send that
free
to me.
sweatshirt and
There could be
and
a free GTZP sweatshirt
sweatshirt
for that video.
for that video.
And I finished in the top 20% of the class, everyone. That's what I'm saying. So I'm proud of that.
All right.
Something not a lot of people know.
All right. Next fishbowl.
All right. Chicago stereotypes. Ooh, this is a deep one.
yeah.
Deep one.
Yeah,
Anyone want to go first?
I wrote this one.
Yeah.
I think I wrote this because personally, before I moved here, I did have a lot of Chicago stereotypes, in terms of what was I don't know, how safe it was to live here, where I should live, what I should do when I'm here, even as a female, things that I have to watch out for and all this stuff. And then living here for the past 7 years have broken down so many of those stereotypes for me and educated me as well. Because I grew up in more I would say rural area, and prior to living in Chicago, I had not traveled to many places, and so
Yeah.
experience more of the world, so that I didn't think everywhere in Chicago it was bad.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Exactly. I forgot what movie or who is the director when that movie came out, but the movie Chirac, I think
Chirac,
came out,
yeah.
and that
Spike Lee.
yeah, Spike Lee, and Spike Lee's an amazing producer, and he did it for a reason, to create a conversation and to bring to light a lot of the violence that's happening in Chicago and how it disproportionately impacts some of the more poor and black and brown communities in Chicago. And so it sucks, and a lot of people have stereotypes because of that. So it's
I think it also it just takes you experiencing some things to understand that you don't have to feel that way just because the news told you to feel that way, or they only show you the bad things that are happening. I feel like Joe opened my eyes a lot in that way by taking me to PBMR and taking me to other places that were, in predominantly, I would say, in the news shown bad, like Englewood, Back to the Yards, or West Chicago. And
yeah. It's the thing is they only show the bad things that are
That's what I
happening in
mean.
Englewood, but there's so
Yeah.
many amazing people and organizations. Literally, season
great.
1 was dedicated towards the south side of Chicago. So all the organizations we interviewed in season 1 and a lot in season 2 are organizations based in the south side of Chicago, doing amazing things. So
and I've gone there frequently,
Yeah.
and
yep, and I guess that's another
Yeah.
reason that inspired this Greater Than 0% is to
Yeah.
show people that
awareness.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, all the amazing things that are happening in these
Yeah.
communities, so they don't just have to see the bad things that get the news folks the ratings. So
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would take it in also maybe a different perspective that, again, kind of the reason why I got involved was just maybe some people feel like I just don't know how to get involved, or like there's just the perception that, I mean, I guess there's just not organizations that need help, or I just don't know how to get involved out there. So I think for me, it's just more of like breaking that perspective of there's so many interesting one or two organization, like mom and pop, like they're just getting up and running. They're doing so many interesting things, and like there's so many great ways to either volunteer, fundraise, share, like follow. Like there's just the most minimal and also amazing ways you can get involved. Yeah. And I think that's just something that sometimes you forget when you're stuck in your like routine of like day to day. So I think that's just something that in my mind, there's just so many ways to like break that stereotype.
Yeah, so Chicago stereotypes. I have two very Italian godparents from two very big Italian American cities, New York and Chicago. So when I was applying for schools, it was very much a fight for me. It was like, which school do I go to? Do I go to somewhere in Chicago, do I go somewhere in New York? Yeah. And I think ultimately I picked Chicago because I had this idea in my head that, Midwest nice. Like, people are still going to be, nice, and if you fall in the street, someone will say hi to you or try to help you out versus just walk past you. That's kind of the stereotype. Now, having been to New York, I don't think that's entirely true. I think there are plenty of nice people in New York too.
Absolutely.
But I think there are plenty of nice people in Chicago, and I don't regret my decision to come to Loyola, come to Chicago at all. Definitely a lot of stereotypes to deal with, like, coming from a small town in a small state of 200,000 people, and just hearing everybody saying, "Oh, are you too afraid of Chicago? Are you too afraid to get shot up, or these things aren't going to happen?" Across the street here, and every time I come back, I will just tell them, this is one of the best cities in the world, and
amazing people.
You have good friends, and you're always going to be fine. Yeah.
Next.
Cool.
We're at about the hour mark too.
Oh yeah.
So
maybe like one or two more.
Yeah, one or two more, and then we'll. Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Wrap it up.
We lost
refresh.
one camera.
Ooh, here we go. What are we watching right now?
Oh, that's a fun one. If I was watching something.
What are we? I know.
I know. I'm trying to think.
What are we watching right now?
Okay, I got mine. Right
yeah,
now.
Go for it.
Go for it.
So right now, my girlfriend and I are watching The Young Rock. It's a series about Dwayne Johnson in his fictional residential bid in 2032, reminiscing about his childhood. So you get to see cameos, and not cameos, but like reenactments of like Andre the Giant, all these crazy characters, and it's funny, and it's just, with a lot of the stuff going on in the world, sometimes you just need a laugh. That's not too much relative, and how can you not like The Rock?
Yeah, agreed.
It's true. I'm like always watching Gilmore Girls, let's be honest.
Stole mine.
But like, I would say what I'm currently watching and into is actually, I've like been interested in American Idol recently. I used to watch it a ton when I was younger with like my mom, and I like for a while like did not watch it for a couple of seasons or a couple years, and I've picked it back up, and I don't know if y'all have watched it this season, but wow. Some great singers out there, really talented young people. Like some of their top 16 or I think like top 12 right now, they're like 15 and 16, and they sound like they're like 30.
It's so much nicer of a show now too. It seems like.
I mean, like I like Katie and Luke and Lionel for sure. So I mean, check it out if you've got Dish or I don't know, access to cable.
Wherever you get.
We're not being paid for these sponsorships right now, so.
Whatever. But
I've
been checking out American Idol lately. I don't know, getting back into music and watching that.
I'm trying to think of which one I've been watching. Do you have yours ready to go?
I think so. So I usually just tag along with whatever Corey's watching when I do watch. But what I do is Audible, so I do a lot of audiobooks, and so I figured I could talk about that.
Yeah, that's sure. That's fine.
I don't think we have any.
I think you should plug your Audible.
All right, two recent books that I finished in the past month. One of which is How to Avoid Climate Disaster by Bill Gates, which I learned so freaking much about the world and what we're doing and what we need to do. So if you want to learn about climate change and what you could do, definitely listen to that one, read that one. And then recently, Green Lights by
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey. It's his book that he just wrote about the first 50 years of his life. I was literally laughing out loud. And don't buy the book, listen to the audiobook because
It's him telling
he
the
narrates
story.
it.
It's so great.
Please tell me he starts with saying, all right,
He talks about where that comes from. He talks about where that started. And yeah, his stories are just ridiculous and insightful and really good book.
Joe was
Highly
literally
recommended.
laughing out loud
Yeah.
I was doing dishes, listening to it, just like cracking
in
up.
his with his AirPods.
So-
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Kevin, your dad,
Yeah.
or your mom, they both say The Voice. They're talking about The Voice
Oh.
right now versus
Oh,
Idol.
love The Voice.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't watch The Voice. Sorry, just American
The
Idol.
Voice
Voice.
TV show or the voice of Matthew McConaughey?
No, The Voice. It's the show.
Alright.
The
It's a
Voice.
That would be a show.
I love The
Wait,
Voice of
that,
Matthew
that would be a
McConaughey.
show.
With Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
Okay,
I
Smart.
think
What are you watching?
So I think not to like take it down a notch, but there is a show that's called It's a Sin, where it just talks about the HIV/AIDS pandemic or epidemic that happened back in the 80s. It's just like a really good reflection of like a lot of younger youth dealing with AIDS happening at the time, where kind of the government just like didn't really explain to them like we have today. Obviously, we're living through a pandemic right now.
Yep.
There was just like not a lot of explanation about what AIDS and HIV was, and so it just takes a look at a friend group and how it impacted all of them. So it's definitely one that is a little bit more of just enlightenment to know that we lost a full generation of CEOs, CFOs, like game changers in the world.
Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, musicians, artists, like we lost a whole generation. And I know that for me, sometimes it's hard because you can't see those types of people in the workplace to emulate. So I think it's just one of those that maybe you sprinkle in just to like, if you have HBO.
What's it called again?
It's called It's a Sin. It's one that I think that a lot of my friends, we all felt like was really eye-opening to know just more about LGBT plus history.
Yeah.
So it's just one that I kind of want to throw out there.
Yeah. Cool.
Thank you. Should we
Yeah.
do our wrap up?
Should we wrap it up?
Yes. What
Plug
did
us
we
out.
say was our wrap-ups?
Kind of things that we mentioned: follow and subscribe. Where can we follow?
Yeah.
Where do we have social
like,
media outlets?
can you like follow, subscribe, share?
We have Instagram. We have the Facebooks. We have the YouTubes. We have Twitch and TikTok now.
Yes.
So if you have those, I don't know what they are, but
Getting on that TikTok game.
Greater than
Yeah.
0%.
Watch it
yes,
out.
LinkedIn, of course, we have that.
Yep.
Am I missing anything?
So I think it's just more of follow, share,
Yes.
subscribe, comment, refer any. I
Yes.
think that's the biggest thing is refer any organization that
Yeah.
anyone has been involved with.
We wanna help
It
them.
doesn't need to be Chicago.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be any particular lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we'll take.
Definitely.
And even if we've done an episode on an organization that does something similar, continue
Please
to refer
follow,
it.
yeah.
Because
How do we
we
raise
want to
money?
just
Yeah.
connect them.
Yeah. Exactly.
Totally.
Absolutely.
And know like our episodes are again ongoing. We took a break this week to do our live stream, but every Thursday is
Yes.
when we release
Thursday.
a new podcast or episode for you all to tune in and listen to. So stay tuned every Thursday.
Yeah.
Again, we'll have merch coming out soon for everybody to buy and get involved.
Yay.
Our gala streams, like Kevin will be spearheading some
Galas.
of that.
Again,
So again,
referrals.
stay tuned on the gala fundraisers that we'll have coming your way.
Word. And then again, greater than 0%. We're on a mission to find people and organizations changing the world and sharing their stories so we could drive awareness, education, and engagement. That is what we do. That is our mission and our tenets. And we'd love to work with you all to make it happen.
Awesome.
Anything else? I think
No.
we're good.
I think that's a wrap.
Oh, thanks for our unofficial
Thanks,
sponsor,
guys.
Starward. Starward,
our
unofficial sponsor.
Okay.
Yes.
This is our first live stream, you guys.
Shout out to all of our
Yeah.
audience who've been
Oh my
interacting
gosh,
with
yeah.
us. Thanks
We
for watching.
capped out at
Cheers.
16. 16
Yeah.
people we had at one point watching.
It's better
so
than
thank
greater
you
than
all.
zero.
Cheers.
It's greater than 0.
Thank you
Zero.
all.
Thanks
Have a
everybody.
good
Catch you
night.
guys soon.
Yeah. Bye.